name is Sai Pranith from Triple E second year. Today my topic is Bayes rule. Bayes theorem is also known as Bayes rule, Bayes law or Bayesian reasoning, which determines the probability of an event with uncertain knowledge. In probability theory, it relates the conditional probability and marginal probabilities of two random events. Bayes' theorem was named after the British mathematician Thomas Bayes. The Bayesian interface is an application of Bayes' theorem which is fundamental to the Bayesian statistics. What is Bayes' theorem? Bayes' theorem is a method of calculating conditional probability. The conditional and traditional method of calculating conditional probability, the probability that one event occurs given the occurrence of a different event, is to use the conditional probability formula calculating the joint probability of event 1 and event 2 occurring at the same time and then dividing it by the probability of event 2 occurring. However, conditional probability can be calculated in a slightly different fashion by using Bayes' theorem. When calculating conditional probability with Bayes' theorem, you will use the following steps: determining the probability of condition B being true, assuming that condition A is true. Determine the probability of event A being true. Multiply the two probabilities together. Divide by the probability of event B occurring. This means the formula for Bayes' theorem would be expressed like this: PA by B equals to P of B by A into P of A by P of B. Calculating the conditional probability like this is especially useful when the reverse conditional probability can be easily calculated or when calculating the joint probability would be too challenging. How? It is a way to calculate the value of P of B by A with the knowledge of P of A by B. This is the knowledge for the P of B by A with the knowledge of P of A by B. Bayes' theorem allows updating the probability prediction of an event by observing new information of the real world. Example: if cancer corresponds to one age, then by using Bayes' theorem we can determine the probability of cancer more accurately with the help of the age. Bayes' theorem. Bayes' theorem can be derived using product rule and conditional probability of event A with known event B. As from product rule, we can write P of A B equals to P of A by B, P of B, or else the probability of event B with known event A. This is reversed from the upper following. P of A B equals to P of B by A, P of A, equating right hand side of both the given equations, which are event A with known event B and also event B with known event A. We will get P of B equals to P of P of A by B equals to P of B by A into P of A by P of B. This will be the Bayes formula for the Bayes theorem. The above equation is called as Bayes rule or Bayes formula or Bayes theorem. This equation is basic for most modern AI system for probabilistic interference. Bayes rule or Bayes theorem. Here you can see the formula of Bayes theorem or Bayes rule. P of A by B equals to P of B by A into P of A by P of B. Here posterior part is P of A by B, that is on the left hand side. The probability of A being true given B is true, and in the right hand side formula, which is P of B by A into P of A by P of B, in that first element P of B by A is a likelihood, the probability of B being true given A is true, and then the second element on the numerator P of A is a prior, the probability A being true, this is the knowledge, and in the denominator on the RHS right hand side P of B marginalization, the probability B being true. It shows the simple relation between joint and conditional probability. Here P of A by B is a posterior which we can need to calculate, and it will be read as probability of hypothesis A, when hypothesis A, when we have occurred an evidence B, and P of B by A is also called the likelihood in which we consider that hypothesis is true. Then we calculate the probability of evidence. P of A is called the prior probability, of hypothesis before considering the evidence. P of B is called marginal probability, pure probability of an evidence. In the equation A in general, we can write P of B equals to P of A into P of B by AI. Hence, the Bayes rule can be written as P of AI by B equals to P AI plus P of B by AI sigma k I equals to 1, P of AI plus P of B by AI, where A1, A2, A3, so on An is a set of mutual exclusive exhaustive events. Applying by this method we can apply the bias rule, and this is the example for the bias rule, and this is the one more example which we can using which we are using by the cards which are playing cards, and this is the another example by the probability, and this is the fourth example for the probability, and these are the applications for the Bayes theorem. Thank you for giving this opportunity.